Good afternoon, everyone. I'm your SBA president, Brendan Root. Please. I knew that. Welcome, students, staff, members of the school board, and the community to our third annual Kings for Peace celebration. At this time, would you please remove your hats and please rise as the United States Coast Guard presents our colors.
Present. Arms.
You may all be seated. Thank you again to the U.S. Coast Guard and the Kayhi Wind Ensemble for that important tribute to our flag and country. The International Day of Peace, also known as Peace Day, is observed around the world each year on the 21st of September. Established in 1981 by unanimous United States and United Nations resolutions, Peace Day provides a globally shared day for all humanity to commit to peace above all differences and to contribute to building a culture of peace. This year's theme for the third annual Kings for Peace event is What You Do Matters. Drawing attention to the importance of what matters serves as a reminder that our actions make a difference and can even change the world. Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King Jr., and Elizabeth Baratovich are all examples of peace builders who use nonviolent actions to inspire positive change throughout this world. Standing together as kings for peace, you can also be an instrument of change by exploring what matters to you and understanding that what you do matters. With that being said, I'd now like to welcome this year's Kayhi Rotary Interact officers to the stage.
Vice President Jody Pauley, Secretary Katie McAllister, and Treasurer Julie Day. The basic principle of Kayhi Rotary Interact is to help others. Our motto is service above self. Through service activities, students in Rotary Interact learn the importance of developing leadership skills and personal integrity, demonstrating helpfulness and respect for others, and advancing international understanding and goodwill. At this time, I'd like to ask all students who are members of Kayhi Rotary Interact to please stand.
carrying out several different projects throughout the year to help raise money for Tanzania, Africa. For example, we hold a daddy-daughter dance and we sell clothing made by women from Tanzania at the Blueberry Festival and the Winter Arts Fair. We send the proceeds of sales back to us African women. We also help raise money to fund social events and activities at the Pioneer Home through a pie auction. And for the past 3 years, in order to help raise money for nonprofit organizations and to honor Peace Day, our club has sold Peace Grams. Thank you to all of you who have purchased the Peace Grams. Every dollar raised makes a difference to someone in need. This year, we are hosting a dance on Saturday from 8 to 11 in the auction. The theme is 70s, so let's get groovy. Hope to see you there.
Interact stands for International Action and promotes connection between teens in nearly 9,000 clubs in countries all over the world, spreading international understanding and fellowship through some activities while offering service closer to home with other efforts.
The First City Rotary Club sponsors our Rotary Interact Club as a way to build peace. They also sponsor Youth International Exchange programs. I'd like to invite Connor Wodehouse to the stage. Two years ago, Connor traveled to South Africa, and last year, Diana, who cannot be here today, traveled to Sweden. Each spent 1 year in their host country, learning to speak the language, exploring cultural differences between their host country and the U.S., and expanding their view on the world. They are wonderful ambassadors for our community. The local Rotary groups are currently taking applications for students interested in traveling abroad. So speak to Connor and Deanna for more information.
Each year, the local Rotary clubs host inbound students. This year, Kayhi has 2 new students visiting Ketchikan on exchange. I'd like to invite our 2 exchange students to the stage. Antonia McGill is on exchange from Austria. And Matusz Hoffmeister is visiting from the Czech Republic.
Rotary's mission is to provide service to others, promote integrity, and advance world understanding and goodwill and peace through our fellowship. To illustrate the importance of fellowship, our Rotary exchange students and Jody will recite the poem Peace Is in Afrikaans, German, Czech, and English.
Vrede is iets ons almal versoek. Wanneer ons gebruik dit ons swak voel.
Friede ist etwas, was wir alles suchen. Wenn es fehlt, fühlen wir uns schwach.
Mír je předmět všeobecného hledání. Ne bez něj se cítíme zesláblí.
Peace is something we all seek. When we lack it, we feel weak.
Omdat dit is geworteld diep binne. Met onze vrede ons is nabij.
Da tief in uns verwurzelt ist, sind wir eng miteinander verbunden.
Protože je zakořeněn hluboce, s ním jsme spojení blízce.
Since it's rooted deep inside, with our peace, we're closely tied.
Vrede is nie iets jy kan koop nie. Jy sal nie vang dit van die skyn nie.
Friede ist etwas, was du nicht kaufen kannst. Wird nicht von Himmel fallen.
Mír si koupit nemůžeš, ani z oblohy jej nechytneš.
Peace is is something you can't buy. You won't catch it from the sky.
Iets van dit is natuurlijk lekker. Dit volgt niet afstand of tijd.
Etwas daran ist wirklich erfolgt weder während deiner noch der Zeit.
Na hranici s nadpřirozeným neřídí se časem ani prostorem.
Something about it is truly sublime. It does not follow distance nor time.
Vrede is iets ons aandeel. Dit is rechtvaardig en altijd billijker.
Friede ist etwas, das wir gegenseitig teilen, denn er ist gerecht und fair.
Mír je mezi námi sdílený, protože je vždy a prostě spravedlivý.
Peace is something we mutually share, for it is just and always fair.
Wanneer ons dit vindt, vrede is zoet. Dit zal onze leven volgende maken.
Wenn wir ihn finden, ist Friede süß. Er macht unser Leben vollständig.
Když jej najdem, mír je sladký, s ním je náš život kompletní.
When we find it, peace is sweet, it shall make our life complete.
Thank you. Rotary Interact. I'd like to now invite a group from the class of 2020 to the stage for a very special performance.
about him. The dance you just saw was not pre-planned. Nothing was choreographed or rehearsed. The music started and the students simply responded by moving to what they heard. Each student on this stage took a big risk just now, but because they worked as a group, listened to one another, and focused all their efforts on moving in the same direction, they knew it would all work out okay. Together, these students created something special, demonstrating to all that to be kings for peace is to know that what you do matters. Thank you.
I'd like to welcome Mr. Stevenson to the stage.
There we go. Hello, hello. Perfect. That's all. Yes, that's good. Can you guys hear me all right? I'd like to share with you something. This previous dance is kind of perfect. I learned this story when I was working in Maine. And so it's a myth, it's a legend, it's a story, and it's about how the night sky came to be. And we'll get our volumes here, but I'd really like to invite you all to be part of this, and we'll kind of make it up as we go. So how the night sky came to be, I'm going to give you the Cliff's Notes version. I've never actually read a Cliff's Notes book, but I'm supposed to keep this to about 7 minutes, and when I learned this is about a 15-minute story, or 30, or you know how I go on. Here we go. How the night sky came to be. Let's see how it goes. So you'll catch the parts where you're supposed to share with us. There will be some animals in the story. So this goes way, way back. Days long ago, in the days of way back when. The animals got along just fine. There were plenty of king salmon in the sea, and they stayed in school till it was time to come back home. The bears had plenty to eat that great white bear up there. Alyeska, where the sea breaks its back. Denali, the great one. Denali, that great mountain in the sky, almost touches the sky. Well, all the animals were doing just fine. The wolves had their dens, and the hummingbirds had plenty of salmon berries, and the ravens had plenty of blueberries to eat. Well, things got mixed up somewhere along the line, and the animals stopped sharing. Bears wouldn't share their den. Bears wouldn't share the salmon with each other. The salmon dropped out of school. Hummingbirds, they built nests out of all the salmonberry flowers, and they started running out. Well, the great ones beyond the skies saw what was happening. They saw the discord. They said, "What are we going to do about this?" And they wove a great cedar blanket and laid it across the sky, and the animals were shrouded in darkness. It was dark. It was so dark, animals didn't know what to do. Well, the great bear went to the bottom of the great mountain, and he roared and called all the animals to the great mountain. Let me hear you, huh? Bears? And you reached out. They heard you. So all the animals came to the base. They bumbled their way to the base of the great mountain. Birds were running into each other. It was kind of a mess, but they got to the base of the great mountain, and they wondered, what are we going to do? How are we going to get rid of this darkness? And the great bear said, this white bear, he said, well, I'll try. I'll go to the top of the mountain. I'll try to tear the blanket down. He worked his way up that mountain. He got to the top, and he leapt up. And he tried to tear at the blanket, but it wouldn't come down, and the bear, he tumbled back down to the base of the big mountain. And all the animals together tried to catch him on his way back down and said, "Oh, thanks for trying, Big Bear." Well, next, the king salmon swam to the top of the mountain, and he leapt from the top of the mountain. He tried to take a chomp out of that blanket. It got charred from that hot sun, and all he got was a mouthful of soot. And he fell back down. Next, the ravens, those lovebirds, the ravens went. They said, "We'll circle to the top of the sky. We'll try to get up there and see if we can bring that blanket down." And they went to the top, and the lady got there first, and she popped her head right through the blanket, and the sun was so hot on the other side, it bleached the head feathers white. The gentleman was right behind me. He saw what happened. He turned around, and his keister went right through the whole same hole, and his tail feathers got bleached white. And they went all the way back down to the bottom of Denali. The animals caught them. Well, next, the hummingbird. The hummingbird said, "I'll do it. I'll give it a shot." So the hummingbird flew way up, got to the top of the blanket and started poking 1,000 holes. But couldn't bring the blanket down in 1,000 holes, and the hummingbird was exhausted and fluttered back down. And the wolves ran over far and wide and caught that hummingbird on their backs. And the wolves howled and brought the hummingbird back, and the wolves. But they couldn't bring the blanket down, so they wondered. For a long time, they wondered, what are we going to do? How are we going to do this? So they all thought together and said, "Well, I know. We'll give it a shot. Let's work together. Let's stand on each other's backs and shoulders and fins and flippers." And they got all together, and all the bears and all the wolves and the hummingbirds and the salmon all stood on each other's back. But it's not very easy to stand on the back of a king salmon, and they all slipped and tumbled to the bottom. And it was still a big mess, and it was still dark, but the great ones beyond the sky saw the animals working together. And they said, "All right, we will take the blanket off for half of the day, and we'll remind you to work together by putting it back on at night." And today you can still see the Milky Way where the great bear and the salmon chomped and tried to scratch that blanket down. The hole where the ravens popped their head through still waves open and closed once a month. And the stars and the great stars out there, the constellations of the great bear. Our hummingbird has a red throat from the sunburn it got from poking 1,000 holes in the blanket. The great white bear, it got singed a little there. We got black bears still today. We've got the king salmon still has black gums from trying to chomp at that blanket. But today we still have light because all you animals work together. Let me hear you work together, and thank you, and I wish you all the best this year. Peace.
There we go. Thank you, Mr. Severson. I'd now like to recognize a community member who makes a positive impact in Ketchikan. Would Diane Gubiteo please come to the stage?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It is a real great honor to be here as part of this celebration today. And Mary Kowalczyk and I are members of First City Rotary, and we'd like to tell you the little story behind our persimmon plant here that we are dedicating today.
Hi. Well, I really don't know what happened to this poor tree when I brought it home. It was gorgeous and had lots of pretty leaves. It must be fall. Since it's a deciduous tree, they lose their leaves. So I guess that's what's going on. So as Diane said, I'm a member of First City Rotary, and I attended the annual Rotary District Conference in Anchorage in May of 2019. And at this conference, a Rotary Club from Soldotna presented a community project that they had undertaken. They were planning Alaska's first public Japanese garden. In doing so, they were launching the Peace Crane Project, a series of art-based community involvement, multimedia workshops for both students and the general public. Those workshops were to create dialogue around the themes of respect and resiliency, with a primary focus on participants from the community to create a 4-foot-tall standing crane. It was to be made out of clay and wax and then cast in bronze and put in their garden. The garden is named Shimai Toshi Garden Trails. The idea of the garden was derived from a gift of rare, non-contaminated seeds that were harvested from trees that survived the atomic bombing of Hiroshima. Against all odds, a ginkgo tree or a ginkgo seed, 3 black hackberry seeds, and persimmon seeds sprouted into saplings. In order to best exhibit these trees, the idea for this peace garden was developed. The project would explore and highlight Alaskan stories of resiliency as well as the value of respecting diversity, such as those fostered with our neighbors and other Alaskans, and Kenai's sister city in Japan. And as all you know, Ketchikan also has a sister city in Kaneyama, Japan. So to raise money and help this project along, the Soldotna Rotary Club was selling ginkgo tree saplings and persimmon tree saplings, offspring of the original seeds. Their club's project has struck a chord with me, and I was impressed and compelled to purchase one of their trees, thinking that I might plant it at home in my garden or something, or possibly give it to our First City Rotary Club to use as a plant in one of our community projects. I went back later and purchased a second tree. Then I brought it to our First City Rotary Club, and we auctioned it off with the funds to go to the Rotary Foundation. So I'd like to thank you all for this peace assembly, and let me share a very small part of what I've done. So Diane will tell you the rest of the Rotary Foundation story.
So it's really a beautiful story how this plant, which is a descendant of a survivor of Hiroshima, is here today at Kayhi and to be dedicated today. When we were auctioning it off, we were raising funds for the foundation, like Mary said, and I kept bidding higher and higher. I kept bidding higher because I wanted to get the plant for Kayhi. I knew about your peace pole. I had attended your peace assemblies, and I was so proud that Kayhi was working for peace. So I wanted that persimmon plant for this school. And so I kept bidding higher and higher, and finally I told the rest of the club members, you know, here's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to buy this plant so that I can bequeath it, and our club can give it to Kayhi for their peace efforts. And then the whole club said, right on. And not only that, we raised funds to honor Emma Campbell. We still raised $1,000 to give to the Paul Harris Foundation for international peace efforts. And we were able to honor Emma, who's an amazing leader of Rotary Interact. So Emma. I am so very proud to be here today and to be with you, and proud of you students and your efforts. When I was a freshman in high school, I decided I wanted to join the Peace Corps. It took me 8 years. I had to wait until I graduated from college, but then I joined the Peace Corps and I went to the Philippines for 3 years, and it was one of the best things I ever did in my life, some of the best education I ever had. And so I love peace, and I love trying to make peace. So today, I thank Rotary Interact for their leadership here. I thank Mrs. Campbell for her amazing efforts, Mrs. Zaleski, who helped to plant the garden, everybody who brought it together today, your student body president, Mr. Rue, who's a good man, and all of you are great students. Thank you for this. Our little plants have found a home, and they're right here at home in Kayhi. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gubitayo and Ms. Kowalczyk, for taking the time to address our students today. We are truly excited about the new Peace Garden and hope that Persimmon will enjoy its new home at Kayhi. Now, I'm sure you've all noticed the staircase garden by now, but some of you may not have realized how it came to be. In 2017, the staircase became the home for our school's peace pole, which features the phrase, "May peace always prevail on earth," in Tlingit, Haida, Tsimshian, Tagalog, Japanese, and of course English. Since 2017, the staircase area has evolved into a living space thanks to the creative vision of Ms. Sisevsky. Last spring, she recruited the welding classes to build planter boxes and an elevated platform for the peace pole. And she secured a grant from Delta Kappa Gamma and received donations from the community to fill the space with the plants we all will enjoy for years to come. So, thank you, Ms. Sisevsky. We have one final performance today, so please help me welcome the Kayhi Concert Choir.
I'm gonna make a change for once in my life. Gonna feel real good, gonna make a difference, gonna make it right. As I turned up the color on my favorite winter coat, this wind is blowing my mind. See the kids in the street, not enough to eat. Who am I to be blind, pretending not to see their needs? A summer's disregard, a broken bottle top, and a one-man soul. They follow each other on the wind, you know, 'cause they got nowhere to go. That's why I want you to know.
I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. And no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make the change.
I've been a victim of a selfish kind of love. It's time that I realize there are some with no home, not a nickel to loan. Could it be really me pretending that they're not alone? A willow deeply scarred, somebody's broken heart, and a washed out dream. They follow the pattern of the wind, you see, 'cause they got no place to be. That's why I'm starting with me.
I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. Ain't no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make the change.
I'm looking at the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. And no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make the change. Gotta get it right while you got the time, 'cause when you close your eyes, then you close your mind.
I'd like to give a warm thanks to all those who have helped contribute to this assembly today. So, in honor of giving thanks to those people, I would give everybody a round of applause for all the work they've done today. Thank you to the Coast Guard, Kayhi Choir, Kayhi Wind Ensemble, everybody who's helped make this day a Peace Day. Thank you so much. In closing today, peace is something that can be accomplished by one man, but even easier with all of us together. If we remember and engrave peace into our lives and minds, there's no telling the great things we can accomplish together. What you do matters. Thank you.